Okay, hello everyone. I think we should start. I got berated for starting a bit late the other day. Okay, so we are having panel discussions. Today is the third day of discussions. The idea is to talk about the Human Unity films that were screened the previous day and the morning of today. The idea is thus that to see how films can influence us to unite, or how films bring about human unity. And we looked at quite a few films already. We looked at the Invisible Revolution. We looked at the Revolutionary Optimists. We also looked at Differamente, I think the Italian film. And the films we're supposed to be discussing today is Girl Rising, which was screened yesterday evening, and also a couple of the films that was screened this morning. I think Les Seymour, and also the other one about do you remember the names? Sorry?
I thought there were many movies.
It's okay, but you've seen all of them, right? More or less, okay. So today for our panel, we have Kavita, who is one of the judges of the Human Unity films. The way things work in Auroville is that we have films by Aurovillians and made about Auroville. And for those films, for the awards, we invite judges from outside of Auroville, and Suresh is one of them. And for the Human Unity films, which comes from outside of Auroville, we choose 3 judges from Auroville, and Kavita happens to be one of them. So Kavita, do you want to say a few words about yourself?
I'm Kavita, born and grew up in Auroville, went abroad for some of my education. My interests are in sustainable development, and yeah, I'm very, very interested in how Auroville relates to the world and how we're building a community are based on ideals of human unity and very sort of progressive ideals, but I'm interested to see how this connects to the world, because we do often say that we're a city of dawn, or a city for the future, and I think this is very relevant, especially in the context of a film festival.
So talking about the films we watched yesterday, Girl Rising was an interesting film. It was a documentary styled. It was kind of between mockumentary and documentary, is what I think it was. It's a film about girls' education. You know how in different parts of the world, how women and young girls are treated, and how it is very important to educate them, and educating women, how it affects each and every country, the way it affects the GDP, the way it affects the human dynamics, and so on. And the way this film was done is they had given each person from that particular country to shoot in that country. So it was many directors who made small pieces from each country. So there was pieces from Peru, there was pieces from Nepal, pieces from Kolkata, from Ethiopia, from other parts of Africa, and so on. So it was like a tapestry, you know, of stories woven together. So and it was beautifully filmed. It was very touching, very, very effective, I felt. And I thought it was one of the best films I've seen until now.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. It was one of those films you watch and you get to know the personal stories of some very young girls from all over the world. And we tend to, in the development context, talk a lot about women's empowerment and girls' empowerment, but this movie really gave that personal touch to it. And how it was produced, the directors, like you said, were from the countries, but also the people, the authors of the stories were, I think, journalists or writers from that country as well. So they really sat down with the children to write their story, and you could sort of see that come up in the documentary, rather than having somebody else from abroad write their story or something like that. So I really appreciated that.
Now, the question then rises, then how does this film bring about human unity? But the very idea that women's empowerment is a problem all around the world. And it's not only in developing countries, but I think it's also a situation in the developed countries, even though they would like to portray themselves as being, practicing equality. I don't think it happens. Even if you take something as famous or as popular as tennis, for example, even in the pro circuits, the women don't get paid as much as the men do. So where is this equality